He is ready to do anything to protect the girl in the world of the zombie apocalypse. Stand behind me. Hello everyone, Kinejek is in touch and this is a short retelling of the 6th episode of the series One of Us, filmed on the Sheik game The Last of the Foz. All fans of this game must watch. In the description of the video, you can watch the previous episodes using the links. In short, let's support this series to the maximum with likes and comments so that the video will fly into the recommendations of YouTube. To do this, slap a like and most importantly, be sure to write any comment, period, smiley face, thanks to me or anything else. This will greatly help the promotion of the video. And as soon as the retelling gets 1,000 likes and 100 comments, I release a sequel. Enjoy watching. 3 months after the deaths of Henry and Sam, an elderly Native American Marlon returns to his Wyoming cabin and discovers that his wife Florence is being held at gunpoint by Joel. The couple blithely shrugs off Joel's threats, which become even more absurd due to the fact that Florence offered them sat-down soup in Marlon's absence. Having determined where they are in Wyoming, Joel asks for directions to the west, explaining that they have been wandering around Wyoming for several months after they could not find Tommy in the code, which is overflowing with infected. Marlon and Florence dissuade him, since going west means crossing a part of the river in Lost Ton, which they call the River of Death, where they often find the bodies of people and infected people who were killed by being on the other side. Joel is more concerned than Ellie about what the couple said, and he has a brief panic attack on the way home from the station, although he manages to cope with it. The couple continues on their way and sets up camp in a cave next to the river. While Joel is forging his shoe or watching the northern lights in the sky from a nearby cliff, which prompts Joel to ask her to come down. As they sit around the campfire, Ellie asks Joel what he will do if the medicine from her blood works and the world returns to normal. Joel replies that he would find an old farm and raise sheep, joking that at least the sheep do what they are told. Ellie says that she always wanted to become an astronaut, having read about space flights in the library. Joel correctly guesses that her favorite astronaut is Sally Wright. The mood turns gloomy when Ellie asks if the vaccine will really work, confessing what happened to Sam. Joel assures her that the cure is probably more complicated and that Marlon knows what she's doing. Joel then tells Ellie to go to bed while he stays on duty all night. When Joel wakes up in the morning, he discovers that Ellie is on watch, having relieved him when she woke up and found that he was asleep. Joel scolds her for not waking him up, but Ellie replies that she did everything necessary to keep watch, after which she returns the gun to him. They continue their journey through the snow, crossing the bridge over the River of Death. At first, their journey continues without stopping, as they do not encounter any dangers. As they walk along the riverbank, Ellie tries to learn how to whistle like Joel, but to no avail, and asks him to teach her how to hunt someday. They stumble upon a hydroelectric dam, which, as Joel explains, serves to generate electricity. However, as they continue on their way, Ellie asks if the River of Death refers to the place located next to the dam. They are soon interrupted by a group of armed survivors on horseback, who demand that they drop their weapons. While their leader is watching what is happening, one of the men asks if they were near the infected, and then sends a dog to check them for signs of infection. The dog ignores Joel, but is then sent to check on Ellie. Joel is terrified at the prospect of Ellie getting shot, but fortunately the dog seems more interested in playing with her. After making sure they are not infected, Joel explains that he is looking for his brother. Upon hearing this, the leader of the group suddenly steps forward and asks for his name. Joel and Ellie travel to the gated community of Jackson, where they are surprised to find a thriving town full of families preparing to celebrate Christmas. Soon Joel notices Tommy working at an outdoor construction site, and the brothers are emotionally reunited. Tommy and group leader Maria take Joel and Ellie to the cafeteria to eat. It's the first real meal they've had in months. Joel urges her to be polite to the hosts, which she tries to do, but does not have time to yell at the shy girl who looks at her from the other end of the room. Tommy and Maria apologize for starting the conversation on the wrong foot, explaining that they need to take extra precautions. To protect Jackson from any dangers, and it is said that the bodies that Marlon and Florence found were an example of such dangers. Joel suggests they talk privately between the families, but Tommy informs them that Maria is actually his wife. Ellie forces Joel to awkwardly congratulate them. Tommy and Maria give them a tour of the city, explaining that Jackson is an abandoned gated community that Maria and her team found 7 years ago and turned into a commune. They keep most of the dangers at a distance, not advertising their location and not using the radio, so Tommy stopped contacting Joel. The city receives energy from the dam that Joel and Ellie saw, and has a population of 300 people, headed by a council that Maria is a member of. They even have a farm full of animals, including a stable with a foal named Shimmer, with whom Ellie quickly became friends. Tommy takes Joel aside and they have a drink in one of the city bars. Tommy asks how Tess is doing, to which Joel replies that she's fine, and he drives Ellie across the country to find her family among the Fireflies. Tommy explains that the Fireflies have a base at the University of Eastern Colorado, which is about a week away by horse, but he will most likely encounter raiders and infected. Joel tries to persuade Tommy to join them, but Tommy refuses, saying that Maria is pregnant and he decided to change his path. Joel lashes out at him, doubting whether Tommy will be a good father. Tommy angrily tells Joel that just because life has stopped for him, it doesn't mean it has stopped for Tommy. Joel breaks out, stating that they will leave him in the morning. When Joel goes to the town square, he experiences another panic attack, but it passes when he notices a woman singing Christmas carols in the crowd, who reminds him of Sarah. He briefly watches her play with her daughter. After taking a shower and getting new clothes and a menstrual cup that Maria left for her, or goes to Maria and Tommy's house. Above the fireplace, she finds a plaque dedicated to the memory of 2 children, Kevin and Sarah. Maria arrives with a new winter coat for Ellie and insists on a haircut. While cutting Ellie's hair, Maria makes small talk, explaining that she used to be an assistant district attorney, and asks if she noticed Tommy's monument over the fireplace. Ellie expresses her condolences about Maria's children, but Maria reveals that she had only one child, Kevin. Sarah was Joel's daughter. Maria quickly realizes that Ellie didn't know Joel had a daughter and apologizes, but either admits that it explains some things about him. Maria warns Ellie that she doesn't know Joel, and advises her to be careful who she trusts, because the only people who can betray her are those she trusts. While Ellie is attending a city movie night, Tommy sneaks outside and finds Joel trying to fix his shoe in a boot shop. Tommy apologizes for being rude and tells Joel that going to university is not something he can't handle. Joel admits that Ellie is immune, and tells Tommy about their journey, recalling Tessa's death and the events in Kansas City. He expresses horror about Ellie's safety, claiming that he is too weak to protect her now, and says that he has a dream that she will be killed because of him. He declares that he must leave her, and asks Tommy to take her to the Fireflies instead of him. Tommy reluctantly agrees. Joel returns to the house that Maria and Tommy have allocated for him, and finds Ellie reading the diary of the previous residents, in which she expresses disgust at the frivolous desires of teenage girls of that time. Joel guesses that she overheard him and Tommy talking. Ellie angrily challenges him, accusing him of being overprotective, and says that she is not Sarah. Joel tells her that she doesn't understand the loss, to which Ellie angrily declares that everyone she has ever cared about has either died or left, all except Joel, and that she will be worse off without him. Joel calmly repeats that she is not his daughter, and he is not her father, and declares that in the morning they will go their separate ways. Leaving Ellie in her room, he tearfully thinks about Sarah and his memories of her upbringing. Tommy arrives in the morning and takes Ellie to the stable, where they are surprised to find that Joel is trying to steal one of the horses. Joel admits that Ellie deserves the right to choose who she goes with, but as soon as he has time to say a word, Ellie decides to go with him. As they prepare to leave, Joel says goodbye to Tommy, who reminds them that there is always a place for them in Jackson. While Joel and Ellie get to Colorado, they continue to get closer. Joel teaches Ellie how to shoot a rifle with a telescopic sight, tells her about his life as a contractor before the outbreak of the epidemic and explains the rules of the game of football. When they enter the campus, Joel admits that he would like to change his previous answer. As a child, he wanted to become a singer. Ellie finds this funny and tells him that later he will have to sing for her in exchange for her saving the world. They find escaped monkeys and traces of fireflies on campus, but there are no real fireflies. They find out that the fireflies suddenly packed up and moved to Salt Lake City. They are interrupted by the arrival of the raiders, and they try to escape. Trying to get on a horse, Joel is ambushed by one of the raiders, whom he kills, but realizes that he stabbed him with a knife. They manage to escape on horseback, but when they reach the railway track, Joel falls and loses consciousness, and a panicked Ellie frantically tries to revive him.